what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. We are joined by a clone today. His name is Peter, 47.
47? Woo, I've upgraded.
That's 42.
All right.
Well, yeah, but that he left. We couldn't control 42.
We got some cool clips to look at today?
Yeah, we do.
Oh!
Yeah. I love when he's just like getting blasted in the face like he's going through waves.
Today we were looking at some clips from the new Dune, which you might be excited about.
If you guys think Dune 2 was cool, how about the sci-fi movie that started it all in 1927, way ahead of its time, the granddaddy of special effects films, Metropolis. By the way, how about this transition that we just pulled off here?
Oh my God, it was so slow, I didn't even notice. We're gonna be looking at one of the craziest car crashes in a movie I've ever seen. If you thought physical whiplash is a thing, how about visual effects whiplash?
Yeah, get your neck nice and braced for this one. It's gonna be a wild ride. All right, so I brought in a clip from esteemed director Michael Mann. It's his 2023 movie, Ferrari. There aren't many VFX in this movie, but when there are, let me tell you, you guys are gonna like this. So let's take a look.
Man, this is pretty sweet so far.
Uh-oh. Wee! Whoa! Whoa! Oh no!
So the actual shot of it crashing and going through the people, horrifying, pretty good VFX wise. The shot before it, of it hitting the telephone pole, I don't know what's happening.
That's really weird. The car just like flies away.
It launched up and then had an extra cannon. It was like,
Yeah.
And then it's weird how it,
oh no!
jeez.
It's this shot that really
Yeah.
What is going on?
And then, dude, that's a JPEG background, man.
JPEG background and like weird, is that like real smart motion blur on the car? Like motion blur added after the fact? Because look at the tire as it's coming towards camera. This has to have been hand animated because it would have been a challenge to simulate this with physics, but you could do it if you ran it 100 times and kept tweaking the values. You could make it hit that telephone pole and bounce off realistically using physics.
It's just this shot. This is the only shot that's egregious. The whiplash we're talking about is because then it goes to the shot that is so visceral.
Oh,
God.
The destruction on the car is amazing.
With the way the shot looks like it was built is they had real people, they then transitioned to a CG takeover, and they transitioned back to real people lying on the ground. So some of these rag dolls are getting animated to go splat right into the position of the other person.
Interesting.
And it looks weird.
It probably would have looked better if they kept them as the rag dolls.
I think it's a real card they flipped. I think they replaced the car, but I think they had a real card they tossed across the road there.
Yeah, look at how it hits the tree. That's all real.
And the shadows on the ground to the left at the end.
Yeah, because I was wondering, it's like, wow, the compositing of the shadows there are incredible. And that's probably because it's real.
It's totally a real car, yeah.
But not at the beginning.
Oh, okay, so it's CG car then to real car.
Yep.
It's starting to make sense why they made some of these choices.
Despite like the criticisms we're leveling at this right now, I can forgive all of it for this one shot coming out of the blue, and like, it's so brutal. And so I think this is an example of just like, the end result kind of just forgives a lot of the stuff we're seeing.
Jordan here. I'm just cruising through the Italian countryside. It's a gorgeous day. I should really be paying attention to the road, but I did want to talk to you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you didn't know, Squarespace is the best place to go to if you need a custom website for your online shop, portfolio, business, I mean really anything you want. Squarespace's templates makes designing your website easy, even if you have absolutely no design experience. So they've introduced a ton of new tools, including Squarespace Blueprint. Blueprint allows you to choose from professionally curated layouts and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Squarespace also has a next-generation website editor called Fluid Engine. Choose your website starting point and customize every design detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop and mobile. Your ability to have an online store through Squarespace is really where they shine. I mean, it's like a one-stop shop. You're telling me I can see my sales, click-throughs, analytics all through the same place that I built my website? Oh, and they make a whole range of payment options to make checkout as easy as possible for your customers. Check out Squarespace for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/corridorcrew and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain.
So there isn't much out yet from Dune 2, but they did release the full Sandworm riding scene. If you haven't seen the movie yet, maybe skip ahead. But oh my God, is this one of the best action scenes I've ever seen.
Just the hint of the worm.
Oh my, like look at that shot. It's ridiculous.
I love that there too, seeing
Yeah.
like the actual edge of the dunes start to like collapse.
Yeah, that was a really good CG takeover, the transition from real Dune to CG Dune.
That's gotta be terrifying.
I think it's very clever how much they covered everything up with smoke and
Yeah.
dust and sand. Really made their job easier. That shot right there, that's my favorite shot. Everything feels like it's either somebody on the Sandworm with him or it's a mounted shot. Like everything feels very grounded in how you would actually shoot that if it was a real vehicle, you know. This shot.
It's the POV shot where,
Yeah. I love when he's just like getting blasted in the face like he's going through waves.
So this took 3 to 4 months to shoot. It was literally just they had a stage with this patch of sandworm on some kind of hydraulic system that would shake the actors around. And apparently they would just blast these actors with sand.
literally sandblasting them?
In the face. Yeah.
Oh man.
But I think it's also important to clarify that most of what we're seeing here is like not real sand. You have the actor and you have the patch around him that's actual real physical sandworm. But a shot like that, probably entirely CG.
Probably. I do wonder, that sand explosion that happened, that looks like a real dust cannon. Like
might
I
be.
wonder if that's a real element right there. Like that looks so good.
I'm glad Denis was like, you know what, goofy, crazy 70s and 80s Dune. I know that's a vibe. I'm glad he's like, I'm not gonna do that.
Well,
I mean, it's still
Niko.
crazy.
He might not do it, but we're gonna do it. Have you guys seen the original Sandworm riding scene? It's unbelievable.
Whoa.
So I will
Wait,
say,
That's pretty
Whoa.
cool looking.
Wait,
the
what the heck?
actual Sandworm stuff is pretty sweet.
Dude, this is dope. Wait, how would they have done that shot?
I think it's like a wall on a car.
Yeah. Amazing.
He was like,
Oh boy.
How'd they do that?
Miniature going up in front of the camera, maybe?
Because he's pretty well blended in there, and then the front of it comes up and
Is
over
that a
him.
puppet?
That might be a puppet.
Oh my god.
Like he's a puppet?
Yeah.
It's a doll.
It's a doll?
It's a
Because
doll.
it's like perfectly married to the worm.
No, I think you're looking at a shot that was originally a comp shot with another comp shot now being put on top of it with the front of the worm coming up. Because you see the matte lines around the edge of that head coming up.
Yeah.
These actors have no idea what's going on. Like you can just tell like the final effect. Like no one has any idea what it's gonna look like when they're filming this.
Whoa.
That looks dope.
That's a pretty cool shot.
That's amazing.
You know, not that bad. Not that bad.
It's just silly, man.
I'd say
it's just silly.
I don't have problems with the VFX. It's the filmmaking choices I have problems with.
It takes a certain kind of filmmaking to do kineticism and to do, action and movement and like to feel like things are fast. Just like understanding like, oh, our camera should shake at this rate. Like there's a lot of cool artsy things in this, and I love that, like the wacky sci-fi stuff. I think David Lynch brings a lot of that to the table. He is a fantastic director, but stuff like this just doesn't quite hit sometimes because it doesn't have somebody who's given it a different direction.
Well, once Dune 2 comes out on streaming, we'll talk about this a lot more.
Well, okay, I hear that there's a Dune 2 Sandworm video in the works at Corridor right now.
Oh.
We wanted to recreate a Dune sandworm here at Corridor, but we don't have a sandworm. We asked Adam Savage to send us his Dune popcorn bucket because we wanted to impress him with a really cool cinematic shot of his prop in action. Did we succeed in blowing his mind? We'll find out tomorrow on Corridor Crew or right now on corridordigital.com. So sci-fi is cool, right? We've seen sci-fi from the 2024.
I'd say sci-fi is cool, yeah.
From 1984, I think. What if we take it way back? Way back to the first. The movie that started it all.
How far back are we
Started
talking?
what?
We're gonna go to 1927. We're gonna look at the granddaddy of visual effects and special effects movies, Metropolis.
Metropolis.
How do you think they did that graphic design?
Oh, good
Yeah.
question. Wait,
how do you think they
hold
did
up, hold up, go back, right off the bat. Oh my God. I just take that for granted. It's like, yeah, probably just some like shape layers in After Effects.
So this is 1927.
Yeah, what in the world?
Graphic design, motion graphics in 1927.
Is that just a time lapse of a painting?
Yeah.
Is it?
Wow.
Whoa.
That's
It is somebody
incredible.
going in and erasing and then reshading a drawing frame by frame. So the whole thing is dark, and they erase the square, then they erase the lines, they erase the light. Like they're bringing out lightness by erasing the picture.
Oh.
That sounds awful. That sounds so
It sounds
painful.
awful.
So
That
monotonous.
sounds, I mean, that sounds cool.
Look at the set. Isn't this a little too big to be a
Wait
set?
a minute.
Is that a paint over? It has to be. No?
Not a paint over.
Oh, forced perspective with a model in the foreground?
Kind of, yes. This is your classic mirror shot.
What?
Yeah. What you're looking at here is they're building a miniature of the set off to one side, and they're filming the real set to the other side, and in between the two is a mirror at a 45-degree angle. And they've lined up the reflection of the miniatures to line up with the real set, and then they scraped off the backing on half the mirror, so you're seeing through part of it and seeing the reflection on the other part of it. You use the
Yeah.
mirror to do live compositing
Wow.
of two images. No computers, no optical printers. You got your janky wooden box. And that's about all you got. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah! No! Ah, whoa!
Whoa, wait, what?
Whoa!
What?
Check this out.
Whoa, whoa.
Huh?
Isn't this cool? For 1927,
wanna
isn't this
watch this
rad? By the way, how about this transition that we just pulled off here?
Whoa.
Oh my God, it was so slow, I didn't even notice.
That messed with my brain.
What
Is that
the
just
heck?
a simple cross dissolve?
But it couldn't be, the steam came through first.
I don't think it's a crossfade. I think this is all in camera. They don't have the tools at this era to like do holdout mats on the film and only expose part of it and like do the rest. Like you can do that, but it's very janky. Like you have to do it very manually. Instead, they have two sets, both full size,
Wow.
and they just have a pane of glass. But this time they've configured the frame that holds the mirror to be able to slide it in and out. And they've actually scratched off different pieces of that mirror to make certain parts of the glass transparent and other parts reflective. So as they slide this glass down, there's a part in the middle that's reflective, and you see the reflection of the head is revealed, whereas the sides stay transparent because they've just scratched everything off except for the reflective part of the mirror in the center. And when the mirror is close enough and out of focus, it makes the edges of the mirror blurry, so it just kind of looks like a soft mask instead of an actual mirror just being slidden in and out in front of the camera. Whereas in this other shot, you see the wipe happening from the bottom to top, but this time the reflective part of the glass is on both sides of the frame, and they've left the middle of the glass clear in order to keep the actors on the stairs.
Oh my God.
That's so cool.
Oh my God. So that
Wow.
thing they're reflecting is also a full-size set.
I think so. I think so. We talked about this. How do you think they did the spotlights?
Oh! There's another freaking eraser board!
Oh my
Yep.
God.
They are erasing and redrawing the spotlights and the lights on the thing. So they had a rule.
This is the coolest part.
Everything that's not a light only goes up to half gray. So it goes from black to half gray, and then anything brighter than that, they reserve for lights.
Clever.
Dang. That's real cool.
Because it's just paper at the end of the day. Nothing's glowing. Dude, I can't imagine doing the spotlights, erasing it and moving it around and then shading it back in.
And also just
Yeah, that spinning sign.
The light streak, that's an actual like optical flare that's moving. So it's being erased, redrawn, erased again, redrawn again, rinse and repeat.
It's weird to think that this was made without reference. There's not another movie that did this first. Like, think about how much like our sense of sci-fi and like art design from sci-fi has been derived from just this film. It's so weird to think that 100 years later, the sci-fi art design of Metropolis was so on point that we're still like vibing on it now.
Kermit, I'm sorry. Oh, please don't go, Kermit. Please don't go.
Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy going on a bike ride.
This looks like a home video.
okay.
Yeah.
Pretty day.
So
Wow.
Kermit is like the main thing in frame, but Miss Piggy, I think, is stealing the show in the shot because how is she riding the bike? There's not a person's hand up. Anyway.
Oh, a little change.
What?
The crazy thing is, like, Kermit's looking around. He's talking. Look at this flex right here.
Wait, hold up.
Nico,
Hold up.
Are these just remote?
Wait, what the heck? Hold up. I thought at first maybe the bike was suspended on like a string, like a guide rail type thing.
Yeah.
But then they just did these like friggin' loops and no hands.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, that
have a
looks
guess.
CG. That looks weird.
What? So they had RC car technology at this time, yes? Like electric motors and stuff, I would imagine.
Those are not electric bikes though.
You don't think so?
No,
Why not?
because I don't see the electric motor.
What?
Okay,
in the
this I
hell?
could see
yeah,
like
that one was
maybe
pretty-
there's like some framework involved. Like it looks like that bike is attached to the other bike, right? Like
That's pretty clear.
The way they are doing this, it's a mix of techniques, of course, but the main technique is they are basically just doing a marionette of an entire bike and a Muppet all at the same time from a crane.
Wow. What does that rig look like at the top of it? Like, is there a rail system to guide the bikes, or is it literally somebody with wires moving the bikes around?
This is hard to figure out because there's no pictures of it. All I can tell
Lame.
is from a shadow in the behind the scenes.
yeah, you can see the guy literally.
Yeah, and they're probably just rotating it, or sometimes it's not way high in the air, but it's way closer to the ground, and it's basically like a crane arm coming off a car or a truck, and they're just driving along.
Yeah.
Like these are such a flex.
It's incredible, and at the very end, you can see they almost lose it because they have to keep the bike in contact with the ground so that the wheels spin. But the bike doesn't need to be in contact with the ground. The bike is actually hanging, so they're just barely trying to keep it touching the ground so they get the wheels spinning, but not so much into the ground that it falls over. And you can see here they lean it a little too far with Kermit, but they save it. It's still a little tilted, they save it again. But then shots like this, they actually had some bikes just attached to the other bikes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
that one person is biking for real, then all the other bikes are being dragged along.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Look at the front of his bike.
Yeah.
There's a thing going to another bike that's just off frame. So there's probably a person in a Muppet costume on that front bike that's off frame. You only see like the back of it, but that's an actual real person there.
That's clever.
But then just two chains of bikes attached to that.
Welcome, young man. You're in need of adventure.
Pagemaster!
So this is 1994.
of playtime.
You're going nowhere.
1994. We're talking early years of CGI, Jurassic Park T-Rex, T-1000, like that era. Let's take a look.
The heck? Whoa, what the heck? Interesting. Okay. Some liquefy effects. Oh!
Ooh, that's nice.
What?
Wow.
That was an actual liquid sim.
No, it's not.
Metaball sim.
Yeah.
Particles.
Still though,
looks
that's
really
meshed.
nice. Wait,
What?
that was
Wait,
drawn.
what?
That's hand drawn. Wow.
Yeah, CG and hand drawn together to do
Wow.
fluid
What?
sims.
Whoa, how'd they do the shading on that? Okay.
Dude, this is so much better than I was expecting.
That's amazing. Okay, so they simulated a bunch of spheres.
Yeah, I was about to say they're
A physics
metaballs,
sim
dude.
of a bunch of spheres, and then they used a meshing software to glue them all together, and then they had somebody paint splashies on top of that.
Exactly. And having that flowing texture of the 3D animation underneath the painting really like levels it up beyond what you could just get with painting also. Very, very ingenious use of like pretty low level CGI that's hard to do. And then like, how do we make this actually look like movie quality? It's like, let's just go in and animate it by hand on top of it.
Oh, and I just realized it's converting all of the bookshelves to cartoon shelves.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Such an ingenious use of like techniques that you know work with brand new techniques.
Again, we've talked about embrace the jank before. This is a perfect example of that. Not that it's janky, but they understand the limitations and they're leaning into that. They understand, all right, the liquid sim's not gonna be photoreal, but we can paint over it and it's all gonna be turning into a cartoon so we can embrace the cartoon nature of it. I love it.
Hey Peter, you have a new game that just came out recently.
Yes, so for the past few years, me and a buddy of mine have been working on a virtual reality game. It's called Heartshot. It's in early access now on the Steam store for PC VR. So if you have a VR headset connected to your computer and you like cinematic, retro-inspired shooter games, you should check it out because I'm very proud of it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think you will too.
Peter, thanks for joining us today. This is a lot of fun. I enjoyed the clips you brought, and I will see all of you guys in the next video because that's how camera phones work.
Can I come?
No.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.